So, why set a goal? Last time I talked about why set a habit creation goal, but I mean, why set a goal at all? I mean, what is it that goal setting actually gains you? And start out, I'll tell you a story, and that's when I decided to start running. Now, I was in the usual shape of a elderly or getting older person who had never really ran. I was athletic in a sense when I was younger, and I'd had physical jobs, and but at that time I was not that active in that way, and so my wife decided that it was she wanted to do something together, and so she signed us both up for a running course, a 0 to 5K run. I think it was 6 weeks or something, which is ridiculous, I know. But from that, I started realizing that I could run. Before that, my knees hurt, my back hurt, everything hurt. And so through this course, I realized I could run. And then for about 18 months, maybe 2 years or so, I ran 2 or 3 times a week, maybe tops 7 to 10 kilometers a week, nothing crazy, nothing big, but I enjoyed it to a certain degree. And then one day I decided, I'm going to run every day, and I'm going to increase my running a little bit each week, and until I can run at least half a marathon. And so I started with 1 kilometer a day. 1 kilometer a day for the first week, and then I decided I'd add 100 yards to that. So first week I did 100. I did a kilometer. Next week I did 101 meter, or 1,001 meter, or 1,100 meters. Third week I did another 100 meters. I took it up to 1,200 meters, and so on and so on. And then I do a long run on a Sunday, which at that time was, I think I started at 3 kilometers. And so in about a year or so, I was running regularly at about 15, 16 kilometers on a Sunday, and during the week about the same, 15 to 17 kilometers every week. Sort of during the week, Monday to Friday. And I just kept going, getting a little bit more, until I finally ran a half kilometer, or half a marathon, which is 21 kilometers. And to this day, every Sunday, I run about 20 kilometers. Okay, yahoo, hurrah for me, right? No, the point is that I did it by little increments, and I had a goal in my mind. I wanted to run half a kilometer, or half a marathon. And so once I had the goal, then I started to have that direction. And so I needed the motivation to do it, which was the goal. So there's basically 5 reasons that you should set a goal, right? Goals are not just things that motivate you, or that give you the direction to go. There's other reasons for that. So the first one I want to talk about is when you set a goal, then you're now forcing yourself to do more than you normally would. If you don't set a goal, then you're happy with whatever status quo you're at. You come home, you want to watch some TV, so you watch TV, and then you have supper, you piddle around a little bit, and you go to bed, right? Whereas if you have a goal, I'm going to, in my case, go for a run every day. Then I come home from work. My goal was to get on my running gear and go for my 1K run. And every day, Monday to Friday, I did that. And then Sunday, I went for a longer run. That was the goal. And it was more than I would normally have done. So, second thing, it'll cause you to learn something new. Because if you know everything about what you're trying to strive for, then you'd have it already, right? That's the point of goal setting, is to push you to learn and do more. And so the do is the first stage, the second one is to learn. And so the more you learn about it, the easier it is, and you get to move yourself forward. The third one is it provides you motivation, which is what I talked about earlier, that you have that motivation. I wanted to be able to run half a marathon, and now I regularly run a half a marathon. Every Sunday I essentially run a half a marathon. And so that is just the motivation. It was to attain this goal, and give myself that boost of things that I believed I could do. 4 is provide a method to gauge success or failure. If you don't have a goal, you don't know if you're failing. You don't know if you're succeeding, right? You have nothing to compare it to. All you'd know is that, I'm here, I'm the same as it was before, and then suddenly there's catastrophe and everything goes down the tube, right? Because you didn't keep track of where you were, and suddenly you find yourself lost. And which is the 5th one, which is you expose your current position. When I first started running every day, 1 kilometer, I exposed my position. I was tired by Friday after running every other day. I said, and then by Friday, I was like, it took me longer and longer to do it. Now I just go for I think it's between 3 and 5K run after work every day, and I don't usually feel tired because I've been doing it now for a year and a half, coming up 2 years. That same run, I haven't gone up. My goal isn't to run a marathon. The goal is just to be healthy and to have that break from work. So, but you expose your current position. If your goal is to become wealthy, then great. Where are you now? Are you broke, or are you less than broke? Do you have to reach up to get to 0? That is, exposing your position is very important, because if you don't know where you are, you really can't get to where you want to go. If you're in the middle of the ocean and you're trying to get to shore, if you don't know where you are, then actually getting to shore is just luck, right? But if you know where you are, then you can point your boat to where you want to go, and you can head toward shore. So, exposing your position is important in whatever area, whether it's your marital relations, whether it's your finances, whether it's your fitness, whether it's your eating style, whatever it is, expose your position, and you know where you can go from there. All right, so that essentially are the 5 points that I'm trying to make. But before I go, I'd like to ask you a question, because you're watching this, you obviously are interested in goal setting. What is it that you want to be? That's an important question, right? I'm not saying what do you want to do or what do you want to have. It's what do you want to be? I'm a runner because I like to run, and because I run every day. It's not that I want to run a marathon or whatever. I don't pat myself on the back saying, wow, great, good job, you can. No, I am a runner because I run. I remember running the trail that I run regularly, which I go around once or twice a day. And my second time around, I passed, first time around I passed a couple, and I said hello, and they said hello, and I ran around again. And the second time when I passed them, they said, what are you training for? And I said, for life. I'm not training for any race or run, I'm just running because I enjoy running. And that's the way you should be with what you're goal setting. You shouldn't set a goal because you want to achieve some great thing one time. You want to achieve to become something that you want to be. You want to be a wealthy person. Well, great. Then what does that mean to you? And that's what you need to answer for yourself. And then once you've figured out who you want to be, then you have to figure out the next question: what habits do you need to have so you can become that person? And once you start figuring out those habits, then you can go back and say, these are the habits I need to create, and this is my goal to create these habits, which is what I've talked about previously.